Your top stories this evening, sponsored by Courts, bringing value home. Former Minister Simona Broomes calls out government for failed efforts to address high cost of living. Institutions are there to serve the people, not government outreaches, says WALTON-DESIR. I am the victim. Taxi driver claims years of abuse at the hands of his girlfriend. AG says restrictions on former president's benefits to be repealed on Friday. And in sport, GCB announces 23-man squad for encampment ahead of 2026 CWI Regional Under-19 Tournament. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Travis Chase with the Wednesday, June 3 edition of the HGP Nightly News. Here's what you need to know this evening. The rising cost of living is placing immense pressure on households and widening social and economic disparities. And despite economic growth reports, many families struggle to meet basic needs, highlighting urgent social challenges. This was stated by former Minister of Social Services Simona Broomes in an interview with HGP Nightly News. Antonio Day opens our broadcast with this story.
Many Guyanese continue to voice concerns about the escalating cost of living, as evident in everyday experiences, such as vendors resorting to discounting basic goods like tennis rolls because many customers cannot afford the full price. Former Government Minister Simona Broomes, during an exclusive interview with Nightly News, said despite this year's touted $1.558 trillion budget, many public servants are still living on the poverty line. Broomes asks, with the largest budget in history, what has the government done to alleviate the hardships of the high living costs?
Well, for me, I don't think up to now that the government has got a hand on how we're going to move the people forward and with the resources, and to eliminate poverty, you have to deal with the social ills.
Despite being labeled as a rapidly growing economy, this growth has not translated into improved living standards for many citizens. Dr. Broomes frankly told this media outlet.
Now, with the resources and oil, what we have to be mindful of is that the government puts Guyanese on a dependency syndrome.
To truly move people forward, social policies must tackle the underlying social ills and economic disparities that hinder progress, she contends.
I agree in the incentive based on the oil resources and incentives for young people and training and jobs. How do we use these resources to move the people? I sometimes ask myself if it's deliberate.
The labor market shows complications as local workers are perceived to underparticipate, raising concerns about citizen employment and economic strategy. Ultimately, while economic growth metrics may look promising on paper, the lived reality for many individuals tell a different story. Broomes, leader of the Assembly for Liberty and Prosperity, noted that addressing the issues requires inclusive policies that enhance quality of life and access to opportunities for all.
They're not governing this country as if you're governing a nation, but it's more in isolation. It's what they think, what they feel, and what they believe.
Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
If government has to be taken to the people, what does that say about the institutions that are supposed to serve them every day? That was the question posed by Member of Parliament and leader of Forward Guyana Movement, Amanza Walton-DESIR, as she reflected on government's recent fan-out exercise across Region 7. Marvin Cato reports.
Member of Parliament Amanza Walton-DESIR, in a Facebook post on Tuesday, said she had to pause and question for a moment government's full-scale outreach to Region 7. Critical government services, she said, were taken directly to the people of that region.
Odej talked about bringing government to the people. And when you look at her post, on the face of it, it sounds, they're doing right. But when you sit down and you unpack that, right, the phrase is good politically.
It is not a cabinet outreach exercise, she lamented. Government, according to the Forward Guyana Movement leader, is a system of institutions, and the modern state must ensure citizens don't have to wait on a minister before they're able to have their concerns heard. WALTON-DESIR said when someone says we are taking government directly to the people, the question that must be asked is why does the government have to be taken to the people? She said the people should already have access to government through parliament, local democratic organs, the NDCs, RDCs, through public consultations, through the media, and through courts.
Government is not supposed to be a traveling roadshow.
She said if these systems are functioning in the way they should, it would mean government is with the people every day. They should ensure those institutions work, she stated. What concerns her, she said, is that it reflects a very paternalistic view of what government is. It suggests, she said, that government is something separate from the people and that access to the citizenry depends on ministers descending on their community to hear their concerns. The MP reminded that in a democracy, government belongs to the people. Government is for the people and it should be by the people. So the focus should be on ensuring that institutions work and that government remains accessible, accountable, and responsive to the people. That is what government is, the MP concluded by saying. The president did indicate on his visit to regions 5 and 6 earlier in the year, when he took government services there, that he intends to do just that in every administrative region in Guyana. Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
A developing story now on the police blotter. A 23-year-old taxi driver is questioning the justice system after finding himself possibly facing criminal charges despite claiming he's the victim of months of abuse at the hands of his girlfriend. Here's more. 23-year-old Yusuf Majid says while a video showing him being assaulted has sparked public outrage, he is now being threatened with assault and cybercrime charges after sharing the footage in a bid to seek help. Majid says he feels abandoned by the very system that should be protecting him. Majid, who works as a taxi driver, told HGP Nightly News that for months he has endured physical abuse, intimidation, and constant harassment from his 22-year-old girlfriend. But instead of receiving protection, he now finds himself facing possible assault and cybercrime charges. His comments come days after a video surfaced showing the woman physically assaulting him in public. According to Majid, the recording was shared as a desperate attempt to seek help and draw attention to a pattern of abuse that has continued unchecked.
I upload a video to get help, to get advice from anybody willing to come forward. Now, after I upload the video, she tell me she wanted to take it down. As I refused to do so, she started hitting me and going back and forth with it.
Majid claims that his girlfriend frequently follows him around in private vehicles while he is working and often become violent over minor disagreements. He said the situation has left him fearful and frustrated, particularly as he believes his complaints have not been treated with the seriousness they deserve. The young man maintains that he is the victim in the matter and argues that the prospect of criminal charges being brought against him is both unfair and unjust.
Very unfair. Very, very much unfair. Because I can see, I post a video to get help, to get advice, to see what best will come out of it. And I end up, it turned up for me. I gotta go into lockup. I gotta go to jail. I gotta pay this amount of money. It's not fair. While the person that do the abuser walking free.
Responding to the controversy, Minister of Human Services and Social Security Vindi Prasad referenced the incident on her Facebook page and stressed that the law provides equal protection to all victims of domestic abuse. The minister stated, quote, "Just to be very clear, if a man is abused by his partner, the law, through the Family Violence Act of 2024, offers equal protection, and all the support services, including free legal support, are placed fully at his disposal through the Ministry of Human Services and Social Security." Unquote. She further emphasized that abuse and violence remain crimes regardless of whether the victim is male or female. Meanwhile, Majid is appealing to law enforcement authorities to thoroughly investigate his claims of abuse and ensure that they are given the same attention and protection afforded to any other victim of domestic violence.
So the police settled your complaints of domestic violence?
Yeah.
For now, he says, he's struggling to understand how he ended up facing criminal charges while the person accused of repeatedly assaulting him remains free. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. As concerns continue to mount over difficulties being experienced by some Guyanese in accessing government's $100,000 cash grant, Finance Minister Dr. Ashley Singh says efforts have intensified to ensure every eligible citizen receive their grant. While nearly 400,000 persons have already received the grant, special arrangements are now being implemented to assist vulnerable groups and residents in remote communities. The government says it is moving aggressively to address challenges affecting the rollout of its $100,000 cash grant program, particularly among elderly persons, individuals with disabilities, and residents of remote hinterland communities. Finance Minister Dr. Ashley Singh on Tuesday acknowledged that while the online registration system has worked efficiently for most applicants, there are still categories of citizens who require additional assistance to access the benefit. According to the minister, close to 400,000 Guyanese have already been registered and paid since the initiative began in February, with the majority receiving their payments directly through their bank accounts.
In just about 2.5 months, we've done, I think at the last count that I saw was about 390,000 persons. So we're approaching 400,000. And like I said, in just 2.5 months. And the overwhelming majority of these people were paid directly into their bank accounts.
Minister Singh explained that special outreach teams have been deployed to several regions to facilitate registration for residents who may not have easy access to the online platform. The initiative has already been rolled out in Region 1, 7, and 9, where teams are assisting residents directly within their communities.
And so what we have done is we have deployed special solutions for those. So for the remote communities, we started with Region 9. We did it in Region 9. We then went to Region 7 and Region 1 and elsewhere. What we're doing now, or what we started doing, was to send out teams in these remote communities to register people using alternative arrangements for them to be paid.
The Finance Minister also said the government has partnered with the Ministry of Human Services to identify and assist persons with disabilities, shut-ins, and others facing mobility challenges.
So the process will continue. We continue to urge people to get bank accounts. We continue to urge people to use the portal to sign up. We continue to try to explain to people that this is the easiest way to get your cash grant. But we also assure you that if you don't have a bank account and you don't want a bank account, you're not going to be denied your cash grant. But we're dealing in the first instance with those who have bank accounts.
Despite the assurances, concerns remain among some applicants who say they were registered weeks ago through home visits but have not received their grants or been informed when payments will be made. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. This is the HGP Nightly News. Stay with us. There's more news ahead.
It's game on. And you may not be able to predict the scoreline or who will win each game. And you sure can't predict who will be the champion. But what is predictable is that Courts has what you need to watch the games the way you want to every time. It's game on. Courts, bringing value home.
Welcome to SNL Electrical Inc., where lighting and electrical needs are met with expertise and style. From the latest in electrical lamps to durable cables, circuit breakers, panels, we have it all. Illuminate your space with our elegant chandeliers, stunning crystal lights, and versatile pole lights. Looking to upgrade your comfort? Explore top-of-the-line AC units and our diverse selections of stylish styles. Visit us at 170-180 Thomas Street, Kitty, Georgetown. Discover solution that not only lights up your world but transforms it. Call us on telephone number 226-3018 or 223-1634. SNL Electrical Inc., powering your life with elegance, quality, and care.
Krishna Rao Establishment. No job is too small or too large. We specialize in all types of fabricating machinery, excavator repairs, rice field pumps, and hydraulic hoses. Visit us at Lot 113, Block CC, Manripo, East Coast, and Marara, or call 220-9624-629-4021 or 7880. At Krishna Rolf establishment, no job is too small or too large.
Welcome back to the HGP Nightly News. We tell you now that leader of the People's National Congress Reform, Aubrey Norton, on Tuesday closed the door on a second presidential bid. However, he signaled his willingness to contest the leadership at the party's next Congress. Marvin Cato reports.
While making it clear that he does not intend to be the coalition's presidential candidate at the 2030 general and regional elections, Aubrey Norton, leader of the PNCR, appearing on CAMS TV's morning show with host Kedaki Amsterdam, said the question of party leadership would ultimately be determined by the membership of his party.
I will continue to be leader of the party, but that by the next election in 2030, I'm going to be 73, and I don't see myself running in that election.
He indicated that he remains committed to guiding the party through what he described as a rebuilding and a consolidation phase. The former opposition leader said he believes the PNCR needs a steady hand, while a new generation of leaders are being guided and prepared for national leadership. Norton rejected the notion that the recent defections from the opposition reflected a collapse of either the PNCR or the APNU coalition, a reality pundit said he does not want to admit. However, he argued instead that many of those leaving were attracted by access to state resources under the governing PVPC administration rather than ideological conviction. Focusing his attention on those who left the party, Norton described them as persons who were basically newcomers during the coalition's time in government and lamented the fact that they were not deeply rooted in the party's philosophy or history. However, it must be noted that there are persons who defected who came through the party ranks and were in leadership positions or were seen as future leaders of the PNCR. Norton also used the opportunity to defend his leadership against critics who is calling for his removal, reminding that he won the PNCR leadership in a competitive internal election and insisted that any future change in leadership should be determined democratically by party members rather than external pressure campaigns. Addressing the issue of succession, Norton said he has not endorsed any individual to replace him, but is focused on creating opportunities for younger leaders to emerge and develop. He argued that Guyana needs a leadership team capable of connecting with younger voters and said one of his priorities is to build a broad-based group of future leaders rather than concentrate authority in a single individual. Meanwhile, addressing future coalition talks, Norton said discussions with other opposition groups must be based on shared principles and a commitment to improving the lives of Guyanese, rather than personal or political expediency. Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Attorney General Anil Nandlal says government is moving to repeal restrictions placed on benefits and facilities for former presidents under the previous APNU-AFC administration, arguing that all former presidents should receive the same standard package after leaving office. Here's more.
Speaking on his weekly Issues in the News program, Attorney General Anil Nandlal says the government intends to restore the framework contained in the 2010 Former President's Benefit and Other Facilities legislation. Under the 2009-2010 law, former presidents receive a range of state-funded benefits, including payment of utility bills, household and support staff, medical care for themselves and their dependents, and full-time security services. The APNU-AFC administration later amended the legislation to place limits on those benefits, introducing monthly caps of $25,000, each for water, electricity, and telephone expenses, while restricting the number of household, clerical, and technical staff to benefit. The amendments also removed tax exemptions and stipulated that former presidents would lose their benefits if they engaged in business or paid employment or were convicted of a criminal offense resulting in imprisonment. According to Nandlal, the purpose of the 2010 law was to put into writing benefits that former presidents had already been receiving, but which had not been formally codified in legislation.
You would recall in 2010, we had passed a former president's Benefit and Other Facilities Bill. What the intention was then was simply to codify into law and make certain what benefits a former president ought to receive upon retirement.
Nandalal said those amendments were intended to restrict what former presidents Bar Jagdeo, Donald Ramatar, and Sam Hines were receiving, but argued that the changes did not achieve that purpose because the law operated prospectively and not retrospectively.
In any event, President Granger is benefiting from the 2010 legislation. The 2015 legislation never applied to him. He gets everything that the 2010 legislation spoke about.
The Attorney General said the government now wants to bring normalcy by repealing the APNU-AFC amendments and restoring the 2010 benefit structure.
We made minor changes, because that, we believe, is the standard that all presidents should receive.
The proposed changes are expected to be taken to Parliament as part of the government's legislative agenda on Friday. Antonio De reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
The government of Guyana has launched a national consultation on the effects of social media on children as it moves toward creating a regulatory framework aimed at protecting minors from harmful online content. Here is more.
Attorney General Anil Nandalal says the time has come for Guyana to consider regulating social media more broadly, noting that several countries around the world have already moved in that direction, particularly in relation to children. He said countries in Europe, South America, Asia, Australia, and New Zealand have already developed laws dealing with social media and online child safety. Guyana, he said, will not attempt to reinvent the wheel, but will examine existing models and adapt them to local circumstances, considering social realities, sensitivities, and the national context before crafting any legislation.
Regulating social media, regulating use of the internet, so that our children are not exposed to the vulgarities, to the dark side of the web.
However, he said the government's intention is not to restrict access to useful content, but to prevent children from being exposed to material they should not be accessing.
You are all users of the web. You are all users of the social media. And you know the content that is available there and to which children can have access if it is not regulated.
Nandalal also sought to address concerns that any attempt to regulate social media could raise fears about censorship or limits on free expression. He insisted that the proposed framework is not intended to interfere with citizens' rights.
I don't think that any rational person, any sensible person would want to object to an initiative where the welfare of the child is the most dominant consideration.
The consultation is expected to examine how children interact with social media, the risks they face online, and what legal safeguards is needed to protect them while preserving access to beneficial digital content. Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
This is the HGP Nightly News. Stay with us. There's more news ahead.
Planning a cleanup? We can help. Sevon's Waste Management skip bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanup, or construction project. It's simple. Step 1, give us a call. Step 2, we put down the bin. Step 3, load it up with all of your junk. Step 4, we take it away. That's simple. Bins are also available in various sizes, so there is no job that is too big or too small. Call Sevon's Waste Management today at 218-1455.
Get sexy feet in an instant of just trying on a pair. Your toes will wiggle and you will giggle. It's almost a riddle. Hollis Boutique. Care, glamour, comfort, and the sexy all together in one store. Colors Boutique. Care, glamour, comfort, and the sexy all together in one store.
It's game on. And you may not be able to predict the scoreline or who will win each game. And you sure can't predict who will be the champion. But what is predictable is that Quartz has what you need to watch the games the way you want to every time. It's game on. Quartz, bringing value home.
The Ministry of Natural Resources, via the Guyana Geology Mines Commission, has shut down 6 illegal mines in Region 7's Mazaruni district with the aim of curbing unlawful activities. You'll have more in this report.
The Ministry of Natural Resources, through the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission, GGMC, on Tuesday, said it shut down 6 illegal mining operations in the Mazaruni Mining District, Region 7, as part of an ongoing crackdown on unlawful mining activities. The enforcement action followed reports of illegal mining within the area and was carried out through a joint operation involving the GGMC Corps of Wardens and the Guyana Police Force. In a press statement, the ministry said that the 6 illegal mining operations were found to have been functioning within a quarry area, resulting in the arrest of 38 individuals. Authorities also seized several pieces of equipment and machinery believed to have been supporting these unlawful mining activities. Officials said surveillance measures had since been established in the area to monitor activities and prevent any resurgence of illegal operations. The Ministry of Natural Resources reiterated that illegal mining would not be tolerated under any circumstance and emphasized that the government of Guyana maintained a zero-tolerance policy toward unlawful mining activities. The ministry further stated that authorities would continue to take decisive action to detect, disrupt, and prosecute illegal mining operations across the country. Dr. Rocco Thomas Caesar, an ecologist and director at the Irokorama International Center for Rainforest Conservation, has also voiced serious concerns regarding the escalating issue of illegal mining, particularly within protected areas, especially by foreign nationals. Her observations highlight the troubling increase in activities operated by draggers, which threatened vital ecosystems. Illegal mining, often carried out using heavy machinery, such as draggers, has been reported in areas designated for conservation. These activities not only disrupt the natural habitat, but also cause irreversible damage to biodiversity and water systems.
That is something the authorities need to look into. That when these people say they're coming to do tourism, that what are they really coming for? And we need to get a little more serious with that, I believe. But we've been reporting it to the relevant authorities, and I hope that they could take some action on it.
Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned for regional news.
Guyana, up your cash! Over 100 winners! More than $2.5 million in cash and prizes up for grabs. Win cash every week. Plus a chance to up your cash to $500,000. And that's not all. Win back your grocery bill up to $20,000 cash every week. Just grab any Buster Turbo Energy Drink, Fruitopia, Oasis Flavored Water, Fruita, or Viva Sparkling Flavored Water. Look for the code starting with BB, then visit at Buster Guyana on Facebook or Instagram for details. Up your cash today.
Interested in honoring or paying tribute to a loved one, or just making a loved one feel special? HGP TV offers you all that and more. Air your birthday greetings, death announcements, and wedding anniversaries on HGP TV today. HGP TV offers affordable prices, convenience, and great services. Call us on 220-3660 or email us at sales@hgptv.com.
Good evening and welcome to Wednesday's edition of the Regional News. I'm Antonio Day. Here's what you need to know as we turn attention to news in the region. We start off with news coming out of Barbados. After discovering oil and natural gas off Barbados, the government is negotiating with companies to explore 13 billion barrels of oil and over 40 trillion cubic feet of gas. Energy Minister Kerry Simmons emphasized that license holders must explore and extract sustainably, and knowledge transfer will be included, particularly with Barbados National Energy Company. There are also opportunities for Barbadians to benefit from the operation. Meanwhile, the government has opened a new offshore licensing drive, offering 19 ultra-deep water blocks to international energy companies, while insisting that bidders meet strengthened climate and environmental standards. The 2026 Offshore Petroleum Direct Negotiations opens a 3-month window for proposals to explore for oil and natural gas in the island's offshore waters. Simmons announced on Tuesday that the pre-qualification period, which opened on Monday, will run until September 1. The government is offering 19 offshore blocks as it seeks qualified partners to undertake exploration activities in Barbados' ultra-deep waters, he said. Still with news in the region, Haiti's National Police recently graduated 1,200 new officers, including nearly 250 women, as part of the authority's ongoing efforts to bolster the force struggling to contain expanding gang violence. The graduation ceremony on May 29 occurred hours before 3 police officers and a civilian were killed during a Grand Griff gang operation, highlighting the risk officers face and the need for more security personnel. The 239 newly graduated officers, part of PNH's 36th class and trained under P4000 plus programs, aim to strengthen public security. Supported by the US, Canada, and the UN, the program has trained nearly 2,100 officers, including 200 women, from the first cohort. The Prime Minister emphasized a zero-tolerance strategy against gangs and pledged ongoing operations to reclaim territory. Families celebrate loved ones who had chosen to serve their country. Yet many also understand the risks that come with wearing the uniform in a nation where dozens of officers have lost their lives in the recent years. And finally, with international news. With the FIFA World Cup just 2 weeks away, immigrant rights advocates in the 11 U.S. host cities are mobilizing to protect fans and residents from immigration enforcement activities this summer. In Los Angeles, a union for over 2,000 hospitality workers at SoFi Stadium may strike if agents approach the venue hosting 70,000 fans. In Dallas El Movimiento, DFW distributes whistle kits with immigration resources amid fears of IC detentions. Over 120 civil groups have warned 10 million potential visitors about serious rights violations, including potential arrest and deportation risk. That has brought us to the end of Wednesday's edition of the Regional News. I'm Antonio Day. Thank you for watching, and do be safe. Goodbye.
Let's join Delwyn Neblett now for HGP's Sports Pulse.
Good evening, Guyana. I'm Delwyn Neblett with your HGP TV Sports Pulse for today, Wednesday, June 3rd, 2026. We begin tonight with boxing. Action took place in the Guyana Boxing Association's 2026 Development Tournament at the National Gymnasium in Georgetown on Saturday. The tournament featured 17 bouts for both males and females, as well as 3 exhibition contests. The Andrew 6 St. Louis Boxing Gym emerged as overall champions as Lennox Lawrence received the Best Boxer Award and Lennox Daniels was recognized as the Best Coach. The New Amsterdam Boxing Academy finished in second place as the tournament also featured fierce competition from the Harpy Eagles Boxing Gym, Pace and Power Boxing Gym, Forgotten Youth Foundation, Rose Hall Jammers, and the Guyana Police Force. Into football, action continued in the Guyana Football Federation's 2026 Blue Waters Shipping Under-15 Girls National Secondary Schools Championships with recent fixtures at the National Training Center in Providence. Marion Academy thrashed the new Camberville Secondary School 9-0 on the back of a masterful 4 goals from Ashley Walton and a superb hat-trick from Captain Skylar de Nobrega. Ella Fernandes and Haley Habercorn each scored once in a winning effort. Theatira Kings penalty propelled Lodge Secondary to a narrow 1-0 victory over Tuckville Secondary as Queen's College defeated North Georgetown Secondary 2-0 on the back of a brilliant double from captain Michaela Sami. Into cricket, the Guyana Cricket Board have officially announced a 23-member squad selected for encampment ahead of the upcoming 2026 CWI Regional Under-19 tournament. The squad will be led by prolific Demerara all-rounder Parmish Roram and also features West Indies Under-19 wicketkeeper batter Shimon Apple, Adrian Hetmeyer, Emmanuel Lewis, Joshua Budaram and Jonathan Mentor. After the period of encampment concludes, the GCB will announce the final 14-member squad traveling to Antigua to represent Guyana from July 7th to 23rd. Still in cricket, former national youth captain Bhaskar Yadram delivered an outstanding all-round performance in the New York Metropolitan Cricket League's 2026 40 overs tournament on Sunday. Representing Everest ACS while competing against the Amazon Jaguars, Yadram was sensational with the bat as he produced 9 fours and 19 sixes in a magnificent unbeaten 177 from 56 deliveries, propelling Everest ACS to a mammoth 423 of their allotment of 40 overs. In response, the Amazon Jaguars were bowled out for just 135 in 28.2 overs, as Yadram also picked up 1 wicket in the commanding 288-run victory. Finally, in cricket, defending champions Guyana Amazon Warriors have officially announced their 2026 ExxonMobil Guyana Global Super League squad. Set to be played at the National Stadium in Providence from July 23rd to August 1st, the Warriors side will feature Shimron Hetmeyer, Romario Shepherd, Robman Powell, Gudakish Moti, Glenn Phillips, Imran Tahir, Dwayne Pretorius, Johnson Charles, Mohamed Nabi, Mohamed Harris, Amir Jangu, Quinton Sampson, Kimo Paul, and Matthew Ford. That's it for this edition of the HGP TV Sports Pulse. I'm Delwyn Neblet reminding you to stay in the game.
Broomes calls out government for failed efforts to address high cost of living. Institutions are there to serve the people, not government. Outreaches, says WALTON-DESIR. I am the victim, says a taxi driver, claims years of abuse at the hands of his girlfriend. And the Attorney General says restrictions on former president's benefits to be repealed on Friday. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm Travis Chase. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.